We're going to go, well, today's lecture for this week is going to be an explanation, a further explanation of your requirements for Essay 1. I'm going to give you some tips in order to help you achieve the highest grade possible and to avoid any instances of plagiarism. Right. The first thing we're going to talk about is the use of AI. You are not to use any type of AI in order to write this essay. It is very easy to pick out the use of AI. There's an very upper level use of literary vocabulary that normal students in a 1302 or 1301 course would not normally engage in. There are sophisticated sentence structures that are not indicative of 1301 and 1302 students, as well as the ideas are very vague. There's nothing very specific related to the photo. It's just general ideas about rhetoric or about visual analysis, right? Please do not fall into the trap of thinking that you can get by with using AI. This is a major part of your grade. I will not allow you to redo it if you are caught using AI. So you will be just subject to that 0, right? I will try to, in this video, give you some examples of what that looks like in order to help you avoid some of the pitfalls, right? Having said that, the number one tip that I need to give you, and I'm going to reiterate this throughout this video, you should not be using any outside sources for this assignment. This assignment is your interpretation of an image. It is not your interpretation of a topic. It is your interpretation of the image. And so throughout your essay, you need to make sure, always question what you've just written and ask yourself, is this information related to the image I see in the photo? Is it discussing the spatial elements of how things are spaced in the photo? Is it discussing the colors in the photo? Is it discussing the text from the photo? Is it discussing the use of objects or people within the photo? If it's not, and it's just making general statements about gun violence or general statements about the environment, it does not belong in your paper, right? You are not writing an argumentative paper about whether or not gun violence needs to be stopped or whether or not people need to recycle. That is not your job. Your job is to analyze the image. How does the image create or achieve its message? If the message of the image is that gun violence needs to be stopped, then you may say that. However, you need to show me how. How does the image put this message together? You're going to tell me, well, the colors in the image are using, bright colors or dull colors. And those dull colors give off the sense or the feeling of, a very tense mood. You are actually examining the photo and how the photo does a job to support the thesis, right? Okay, so that is tip number 1, right? Let's get down to looking at the assignment. Again, I'm going to reiterate several points that are very important to your overall grade throughout this video. Your word count is 1,250 words, okay? If for some reason you are not meeting that word count, I want you to take a look at our Canvas shell. And in our Canvas shell, you will be able to see the assignment, and you will also be able to see the rubric associated with that assignment, right? Once you look at the rubric associated with Visual Analysis Essay 1, you're going to see that there are 5 sections here. Each one, the highest you can get is 4 points. And so each section is worth 4 points. If your essay does not meet the word count, you're automatically here at the 1. That means you have basically an 80 at this point. If you don't meet the word count, that means your essay cannot be scored over the score of 80. So you're already putting yourself in a bind, and I haven't even graded the essay yet or read it. Please make sure that you meet the word count, right? If you focus on the outline structure for the essay and you do what I'm telling you to do in each section, there's no reason why you should not meet this 1250 word count, okay? So that's the first section of the rubric. It is MLA formatting. So your grade is mostly from this section is going to hinge on the word count as well as your MLA formatting. Now, let me say something about the MLA formatting. In Module 1, you have a video from me, and there's a lecture on MLA formatting. It's the very first thing you see. Please go back and look at that video if you have not done so, because your paper should be MLA formatted. That means that paper is double spaced, Times New Roman, 12-point font. You are going to see that the essay is indented whenever you start a new paragraph. You're going to see that you have a heading, and that heading only appears on the first page, not on every subsequent page. When you get ready to format your paper to start typing, make sure you go and watch this video again so that you can understand how your paper is to be formatted. It's going to be very helpful when you're looking at the rubric, right? So that first section on the rubric is going to be very important as far as, or that last section on the rubric, MLA formatted and meets the word count. If you've done that, you should have a 4 on that section no matter what. Definitely should have a 4 on that section. Okay, and then we'll take a look at the other 4 sections. One is grammar and mechanics. If you submit your paper to Upswing with enough and give them enough time to help give you feedback on the essay, you should also be able to eliminate any grammar or mechanics issues that you have there. Your essay, for the most part, if we're looking at this section and this section, you should get the full 8 points for this section. There's really no excuse to not have the full 8 points in these 2 sections, right? If you do that, that's going to give you some leeway for the last 3 sections, which basically go to the content that you've included in your essay. This first one here is over your thesis as well as your number of paragraphs. There is an outline format that is given here. Your paper should follow this outline. I'm going to give you another tip. Usually when a paper does not follow this outline, it's a strong indication that they're using AI, right? That's one of the easiest ways to pick out that a paper is using AI, because you haven't followed this outline, right? Because you can't type into AI and tell it to follow this outline. So when you ask AI to give you a rhetorical analysis of a photo, it's going to just give you anything that it's picked up on the internet, and it's going to put it together in an essay. AI is not foolproof. It is chocked full of errors, again, which makes it very easy to spot. You should follow this outline. Your paper should start with an intro. Your next paragraph should be a descriptive paragraph. It should only describe what you see in the photo. It should not analyze. It says it right here on the outline. Do not attempt to analyze in this section. You are simply going to describe your photo. You're going to start from top to bottom, move left to right. Tell me exactly what you see in that photo, right? From the colors to the text. If the text is put in quotations and it's in the center or at the bottom, I need you to explicitly state where the text is located, what type of font is used for the text, what the text literally says, you're going to type the literal quote from the text in this paragraph. And you're going to describe this paragraph in such a way that if I did not have the photo in front of me, your description would allow me to recreate that photo verbatim. Okay? Your third paragraph is on audience. Here, you're still not going to analyze the use of ethos, pathos, and logos. Ethos, pathos, and logos should not be mentioned in your second and your third paragraph. And the only place it should be mentioned in your first paragraph is going to be in your thesis statement. Okay? Now, when you get to the body of your essay, this is where you're going to start to discuss the appeals. And please note, each of the appeals gets its own paragraph. Do not discuss pathos and ethos together. Right? I want you to do them separately. I want one paragraph on logos, one on pathos, one on ethos. And then I want you to provide your conclusion. A note about the conclusion. Your conclusion should basically be a funnel of your intro. So if your intro has one point, then this point, then your thesis, then your conclusion is going to be like a backwards funnel. It's going to start with your thesis, restating it. Then it's going to go and tie up the major points that you made in your essay. Then it's going to make a final observation about the overall message of the image, or it could even be a call to action at this point. Okay? So that is the structure of your paper. Please make sure you follow that structure. If that structure is not followed, you will receive this one here. It says, essay does not follow the format outlined in the assignment instructions, introduction, description, audience, logos, pathos, ethos, conclusion. Right? It also looks at the thesis. Is the thesis missing or unrelated or not arguable? The thesis does not identify the message of the photo. Right? So this first part, the organization, is going to go towards your thesis statement and whether or not you followed this outline structure. These two parts here are probably the most important parts of your paper. Your paragraph development. When we speak of paragraph development, I'm speaking strictly of these three paragraphs: pathos, ethos, and logos. Okay? Each paragraph has to contain a topic sentence. In your notes and in the former lectures, I talked to you about how to write those topic sentences. I've also put some videos in your week 2 module for you to look at to inform you on how to create a topic sentence, right? And the role of a topic sentence. After you have your topic sentence, you have to have evidence. That evidence comes from the photo. You should be outlining or describing something in that photo, either the text, either the girls or boys that are located in the photo, the colors that are used, the font, the way the photo is arranged, the background of the photo, the setting. You should be literally speaking about the photo when you get ready to introduce any concrete details or evidence. Okay? After you've included that evidence, you have to explain how the evidence supports the claim that you made in the topic sentence. Okay? And so that is the structure of each of your body paragraphs. The paragraph should not be too short. If you give me a really short paragraph with 3 sentences in it, again, it's going to fall into this one. Your paragraph should be well developed. If you need to look at a sample, I gave you a sample ethos paragraph in module 1, so go back and look at it. This part here is your actual analysis. Once you have your topic sentence and you put evidence, the next thing to do is to analyze that evidence. So again, this part here, the development of your paragraph, is going to focus on, do you have a topic sentence? Do you have evidence? Right? Did you include a descriptive paragraph, and is your audience paragraph well constructed? Right? Here's the analysis part. Do you analyze all 3 appeals in a separate paragraph? Do you connect the use of the appeals to at least 2 elements from your photo, either colors, text, font size, font shape, the location of the objects, the way the objects are arranged, the symbols that are used in the photo, the organization behind the photo. These are the elements that I'm speaking of when I say connects to at least 2 rhetorical elements here, right? And you have to demonstrate an understanding of how those elements support the message of the photo, right? So your body paragraphs start with a topic sentence that introduces evidence, and then it analyzes that evidence, okay? And that is how your essay will be graded. If you have any questions about anything I've explained in this video, please let me know. Before we leave, we're going to go back to the modules. And your week 2 module, where's this here? Sorry. Your week 2 module, when you get ready to put your paper together and you're starting with the title, I put in a PowerPoint to show you how to analyze that title and to create a title for your paper. Please do not put essay 1 or rhetorical analysis essay. Your title should be indicative of the content that you are choosing to analyze in the essay. Again, when you see this PowerPoint, it's going to walk you through slide by slide how to build a good academic title. The rest of these things are YouTube videos that help you write each different section of the essay. Once you have your rough draft written, you need to try and write your essay fairly quickly. Give yourself enough time to submit that essay to Upswing so that Upswing can give you feedback on it, and then you can make those corrections and be ready to submit it by Sunday, October 29th, right? So you have within the next couple of days, the next 3 or 4 days, 3 days really, you need to write your rough draft, and then you need to submit that rough draft to Upswing. They usually take 24 to 48 hours in order to return your paper and to give you feedback. I'm going to go through here, and I'm also going to put a link to show you how to get to Upswing. If you just go to the front page and you type in Upswing, it should give you some results on how to get to Upswing. And it's simply a tutoring service. You click on it and it's going to take you to Upswing, right? It tells you how to get tutoring help, and then it tells you how to submit your papers to Upswing. My link is not working so well at this time, but I am going to, in your course module, I'm going to put in a link to Upswing so that you'll know where to submit your rough draft to and how to do that. So here is Upswing. When you click the link, it's going to take you here, right? You're going to put in your Eagle ID, that's your W number. They give you the example. You're going to put your password, your normal password that you have, and then you'll log in. Once you log in, before you actually do all of that, read the directions here, right? They tell you how to submit your paper. They also tell you when you can do virtual tutoring sessions to help you with the paper. The one thing they will ask you with is the assignment instructions. This is what they're referring to. You would upload this as well as your rough draft, and then they will give you feedback. Again, I am going to provide a link to Upswing in this tab here. I'm going to make it an assignment, but this assignment is not, it will just say submit rough draft to Upswing. Again, this is, the rough draft does not count against you. It is just there to give you feedback. So it's 0 points. It does not count. There is no submission, but I am going to provide the external link. It will say Upswing. Right? And you would just click on it. Also, it is not optional for you to submit your paper to Upswing. It is mandatory. Before you submit your final paper, you should submit your rough draft to Upswing and await their feedback, and then make those revisions or corrections before you submit your paper to me. Okay? So, in the module for week 2, you should see that tab to submit to Upswing. What I also put was 2 links for you to revise and edit your own paper as well. I gave you a document with some strategies there, and you can use that. Okay. Some students ask about a works cited page. You will not need a works cited page for this essay because you are not to use any outside sources for this paper. The only source that you're using is the image that you selected. Okay? Please do not put any quotations from a source or anything that you've read from a source. Do not include any information. All ideas should be your own. Okay? All right. And so that brings us to the end of this lecture. If you have any questions about what you're being asked to do, please let me know and I will get back to you as quickly as I can. Okay. Thank you.